Well, my last video did well.
Cheese and rice, Mooney!
Thank you all so much, and without further ado, here is the video. Five Nights at Freddy's, a series with multiple games filled with tons of terrifying imagery, from Bonnie staring you down through a camera to Springtrap staring... He looks like a peon, to molten Freddy being within arm's reach of you. But what if I were to tell you there was an image that has enamored and amazed me for years? An image that, while seeming basic, has such an interesting visual image and thought that ignoring it would be a travesty. An image that lies in plain sight and the most well-known feature of the first game that is never talked about. This is the best image in Five Nights at Freddy's. The first game is widely considered one of the scariest. Its tone and environment is seen as the best and most nerve-wracking. The camera system is more of a utility in this game compared to the others. While in other games, the camera system is more reserved for one aspect, excluding this god-awful game, and is completely removed from Fnaf 4. In Fnaf 1, you seem to have more time to actually enjoy, or pee yourself, at the utter detail that goes into it. From wire to wire, you actually feel like a worker in the pizzeria. But there's one camera image that strikes utter fear into the heart of me, and I'm sure many other players, and that's this frame of Bonnie. In this frame, you see Bonnie staring you down, as if he knows he's being watched, which, come on, of course he does. Look at him here, he's staring at you like a PNG of Mr. Beast on a YouTube ad. His body and face completely blackened out, aside from his eyes, which are looking dead at you. This unblinking stare, that can only be compared to an old western, is definitely timber shivering, but I wouldn't say it's the best image in FNAF. Then, is it this Bonnie jump scare? Jump scare warning, of course. But what would be incredible about this jump scare? I hear you scream into your monitor. Well, take a look at it. Notice the fuzz and jerky movement of his face as he screams the iconic false impression, I know, straight into yours. The red velvet mouth and just textures of everything add up to create a realistically terrifying image. While other games drop the realism, I mean, come on, FNAF 2 has the worst jump scares in the series. Half of them literally jump at you. FNAF 1 has this terrifying, realistic way of these animatronics to kill you. Their movements align with what you would actually believe an animatronic would move like, not jump in your face with its arms sprawled out screaming, "Freedom!" The abruptness almost seems to simulate the actual last thing you'd see before being mauled by one of them. And still, I wouldn't say this image is the scariest in FNAF. Then what is? Well, I hope you're prepared.
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Preparing the...
What? I gotcha! You see, because you were all excited, and then boom! All right, I had my laugh. Go on in.
Preparing the...
Now that's funny!
Yes, really. This image of Foxy is the scariest, most realistic image in all of FNAF. Why? On the surface, this image seems pretty boring. It's just an image of Foxy. He's not even doing anything scary, but that's where I would argue you wrong. This image has a subtle terror and realism that I've never seen emulated successfully, though some have gotten close. Take Baddington's Chica video as an example of a realistic FNAF. Like, seriously, this is amazing. A link in the description. I cannot beg you enough to check it out. But back to the image of Foxy. What about it is so realistic? I'd say the composition of this image makes it so realistic. The lighting and expression on Foxy implies that this image is taken from a mid-show performance. Foxy looks as if he's responding to the gang, which is usually a role given to Foxy in many fan interpretations of the character. The way he looks caught mid-performance gives the image this perspective of an outsider taking a photo of Foxy during a performance, a sense of normality in a regular world. But the dark context of Fnaf gives this image a whole new meaning. The idea of a child being forced to perform in the most definitely painful experience for the enjoyment of others blissfully unaware of their pain is terrifying. The fact that the one taking this out of context image is most likely unaware of the child's suffering is most definitely horrific, but what's an idea that can make this image even darker? The idea that the one taking the photo is William Afton. This idea, of course, needs you to get a little creative with this, and this is where my own opinion and interpretation makes it terrifying. I've always found Foxy to be the most tormented child, other than probably the one you should not have killed in Charlotte. While I've already discussed Charlotte in a video linked in the description, I have not talked about Foxy, an animatronic forced to see the bodies of 5 kids and then stuffed with one. An animatronic left rotting in a cage at Freddy's establishment due to being out of order, as if William is tormenting this soul specifically. And back to the image, the idea of William purposely tormenting Foxy as some hellish entertainment and taking a photo as the child is forced to perform against their will is terrifying, to say the least. But, of course, that is my interpretation and opinion on what I believe is the best image in all of FNAF. I'd like to hear what you believe. Do I sound insane? Comment why, or comment your favorite image and let's talk about it. I have been your host, Golden Pre, and I hope you have a golden day. I'm never saying that again, I'm sorry. Goodbye.